Okay, so I know I keep banging on about this, but I'm not lying to you. You just have to look around YouTube at the high rollers and the way they hurl money around like it's going out of style, and it's staggering. It really is. But it's not real because even though it might be real money, they're making so much money from Google that they can afford to play like Pratt's. Good for them, but let's not pretend that that's the way to get ahead at gambling, at betting, at doing anything. Hello again. Okay, so we're now up to 1,600 uh, rounds altogether, and I must confess I'm starting to feel a little bit sort of worried about about the way things are looking for card counting. It's not that I ever plan to use it to sort of augment or help or whatever the strategy that I've developed. It's just I'm concerned about the fact that if the information that's showing up here, admittedly not in a massive sample, but with 1,600 bets is, if you're playing heads up against a dealer, then you can figure at least two to 300 bets an hour. So let's say 300. So this is 5 hours, which is not definitive, but it is indicative. I mean, if card counting doesn't work in 1,600 bets, then it probably isn't going to work in 16,000 or 160,000 or 1.6 million or whatever. That's just the way I feel about it. But I've always been on the fence with card counting because so many people are so committed to it. It's like a religion. And it's like, when somebody, I mean, I have a couple of very good friends who are very much into the God thing, and my late wife was as well. And I have never questioned the right of people to believe whatever they want, whatever makes them feel better, whatever helps them cope with life, enjoy life, whatever. And I can see the pros and the cons, but it's very difficult for me to sign up for something that I don't find credible. And so that's where I'm at with card counting. I'm not saying card counting is on a par with God, but I have a feeling that if there were a God, he probably wouldn't be a card counter. That's just, my suggestion. But anyway, currently, 1,600 rounds. I've made this latest session a very long one because it enables me to keep everything in one place. And summarizing from the top, we're now at 220,000 ahead, which is 12.5% of our total action. We've had horrendous exposure, but only once. And that's kind of critical because one of the things that you do in statistical analysis, and those of you who are into it, and I don't think there's going to be very many of you out there on YouTube, but those of you who are into it, always say when you're dealing with statistical analysis, you dump the high and the low. And sometimes you dump several highs and several lows to get a kind of an even picture. Other people will, of course, say, well, if it can happen once, it can happen in a minute. That's the standard casino line on analysis like this. So the casino people, the shills and the barkers and the trolls and the blah blah blahs, will say, okay, well, if it can happen once, then it can happen right now. And of course, the same logic could apply to climbing aboard an aeroplane. If one can fall out of the sky, then the one that you're sitting in could fall out of the sky, which is a little bit kind of like, thick. Um, so the last session was, like so many others, hairy. The last couple of shoes is what I'm talking about. Right now, we're standing at a net actual value of 7.8%, which is at least 11 times worse than expectation for the game of blackjack. As I often say, I play solid basic strategy. And I'm not an idiot when it comes to the bets. I just follow the strategy. And right now we've got a minimum of 25 and a maximum that's way up there, 120,000. But you know, when people want to reject that and say, well, that's ridiculous, the argument that I have been putting across throughout all the years that I've been doing this has always been that having money, huge amounts of money, does not guarantee that you'll win. But if you have huge amounts of money behind you, plus a viable, proven, non-random strategy, then you can kick some casino arse. And so that's why the maximum is set the way that it is. There are lots of people who can afford to and are willing to bet 120,000 or more on a single hand of blackjack. And so that's how this is set up the way that it is. I have never pretended that I have created or choose or intend or strive to create a strategy that works for people with bugger all money behind them, shoestring budgets as I always call it. No point. You know, I mean, chicken scratch is chicken scratch, and most people go into casinos, well, I think the average is probably somewhere around 2,000 now. Lots of people go in with less, lots of people go in with more, but I would say the average bankroll that's lost in the casinos these days, and I'm only talking Nevada because that's all that I'm qualified to talk about because I lived there for so long, but 2,000 doesn't cut it. There's just no way. You can get lucky, like these clowns who bet huge sums on YouTube do get lucky, but most of the time, forget it. They are up shit creek. Even with large sums of money to play around with. So let's examine some of the other information that's at the top. We had exposure of 380,000. The amount of money that we've made so far is a 58% return on risk, so that's okay, pretty decent. The average winning bet over the average losing bet value is 158%, which is very solid. Average win 1544, average loss 980. So that's good. What else do we need from this lot? The total win that we're at from all of the Wizard blackjack sim sessions that I've recorded, and not all of which are online, but the bulk of which are online. The total win to date is a little over 500,000, 522,000. 10% of our total action of 5.25 million. The indicated result, which is where you take the total action and you multiply it by the net AV, the negative net AV up there, we should have lost 313,000, and we defied the odds and won 522,000 instead. So like I say, overall negative expectation is 4%. It's 7.8% for the current 1,600 or so bets, but overall minus 4%. So we're doing pretty decently. Random bets, of course, change each time I press the recalc button. So 22,550 minus there. The sky blue line on the chart there is random betting, and random betting is it's an absolute disaster. There's just no point in even thinking about it. But it happens the way that most people bet. So what you going to do? I mean, not very much. That's just how it is. So let's go over to the next screen, and here positive deck values are still negative. The total result from bets with a positive deck value minus 33,000, negative plus 285,000, neutral minus 32,000. So you can see there's a problem there. The total number of bets won with a positive deck value, 320, 401 losses, and with negatives it's this is all AG, AH and AI, so I'm sure you've cottoned onto that if you could be bothered. 386 wins, 484 losses, not too many neutral bets. I can't even remember what that 13 is there. Plus E6, AF6, I don't know, whatever. Professor Thorpe, still negative. What I've done with Thorpe is that these are true values here. So, you know, what I've done is I've counted down the the decks so that we can see what's left in terms of the number of actual decks. And so using the true count, Thorpe is 11,000 in the hole. The horrendous 212, which I'm going to stop even bothering about soon, is just, I mean, look at that. It's just horrible. It will win huge chunks when there's a massive swing in the player's favour. I mean, like here, for instance, a 20,000 leap, and remember the minimum bet is 2,500 over there. Here, a leap of what's that? 34,000. Here, a leap of 14,000. But you need an enormous run in favour of the player for it, you know, for it to show up as being of any value. Next screen over. What are we looking at? We're still negative all the way along. $100 bets, 250 pounds now. 250 pounds. It doesn't matter what the currency is, does it? It's just numbers. We're the ones who put the fancy little squiggles in front of them. So that big bets, 293,000 ahead, and small bets all up shit creek. So, you know, there you go. That's just reality. And so that's where we're at. And as far as the positive negative thing goes, I'm trying not to get involved with the whole question of card counting. I'm just concerned that lots of people out there might be trying to learn to do it without understanding that it does have its hazards. As we can see with just this 1600, well, actually it's not just 1600, because if you go up 1600 here that I started putting the count in, another 1,000 up there, and oh, that doesn't tell me how many, so that's terrible. I don't know, why doesn't it tell me how many? Plus count. It's probably not very many. That's basically what's going on here. It's only 115, so that's why it didn't bother to tell me. So, you know, we're looking at 3,000 altogether, and see, I didn't do the count for these other sessions. Because I wasn't that interested, and then I thought, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, maybe this isn't such a good idea. Yeah, so there we are. So, you know, I mean, all of these sessions are meticulously, accurately put on the record. I changed the Gambler's Gamble to lose thing to red, and I don't like it very much. I need something redder and sadder. I like the colour for Players Play to win, but Gambler's Gamble to lose needs to pop a little more, so I'm going to be looking into that. But there you have it. That's where we are currently, and I hope this is helpful to somebody out there. Interesting little sideline, by the way. I've always said throughout the years, you know, especially since I started the blog about 15 years ago, that I've never suggested that turnaround target, now called pattern betting, is the best strategy in the world. I just said it's the best one that I've discovered. You know, my own developed strategy and others that I've played around with. But I did come across something yesterday, because you know how great YouTube is with sort of waving things under your nose. Once it knows what your, once the algorithm or the AI knows what you're interested in, they keep throwing stuff at you that fits into that category. And this was an operation that's called Gambler's Casino. Funny name, because those two concepts are definitely at odds. Ha ha. But anyway, they came up with this baccarat and roulette strategy, and I thought, oh yeah, this is going to be a load of crap. And I plugged the baccarat strategy into my baccarat models, and to my absolute amazement, it rivals pattern betting. And of course, the whole reason for that is, as I'm always saying, random betting against random outcomes is just plain daft. But if you develop a program which is consistent and which basically stops you from flying by the seat of your pants, kind of keeps you under control, if you like, if you have something like that, then you've got a chance. And this system of theirs, it's you know, I mean, I've started to think of it as the simple six, because basically they have a pattern. It's player, banker, player, player, banker, banker, and you keep cycling through that as long as you're losing. But as soon as you win, you go back to the beginning. So, you know, if you win at any point along the six, then you go back to the beginning. And I'm thinking, well, I don't know about that. Anyway, I'll post something about that. I'll show you the test run information, and it's kind of like it's a pleasant surprise, because it means that when I get back to playing baccarat and roulette, which I will, I mean, I'm going to have to go to London to do it, but I will get there. And I'm hoping to be able to persuade one casino in particular to let me film, so that I can keep the pattern betting channel running with new material from England, so you can see how English or British gambling works. And I may even start touring the country, going to some of the major casinos, as long as they'll let me film, because I think it's important that I do videos. You know, I'm going to have to start making some money and get some decent cameras, and you know, I've got everything planned out, but it all takes money, huge amounts of money. So it's not going to happen tomorrow. But there we are. But no, it's just nice to know that when I'm back to full-time casino gambling, or at least regular, frequent casino gambling, I can go in a different direction if I get either bored or frustrated, or just feel like a change, just want to sort of like kick it up a notch or kick it down a notch or whatever. I've got an alternative, and I really think it's kind of fun. I really do. And there's this baccarat thing that I've been playing around with, which is the dozens. And I've put up one set of numbers about that, and it's incredibly encouraging. But it's, you know, all of this stuff it's just an effort to reduce people's losses. That's what I'd love to be able to know that I've done, is to make people think a bit more before they put out risk bankrolls that are too small to sustain a long run against them. And long runs against them are always going to happen. But just remember, what we do is we turn around fast. That's the plan. You know, we need repeats, ideally. Sometimes we need 3. In the baccarat models, I've got a thing which counts the number of single win turnarounds, and then compares that with the number of doubles and the number of triples and so on. And single win turnarounds are by far the majority. I mean, like sort of like up around 87%. So, you know, and that is sustained with this this strategy, the simple six, and I like it. You know, I mean, all I can do if something like that comes down the pike at me, all I can do is drop it into a model, write the necessary algorithm, the necessary formula to give it a fair go, and if it works, then tell people. You know, because it's another option. So there you go. Anyway, that's me done for a bit. I'm coming up to 21 minutes, which I'm trying to make the limit, and I hope I see you again. Bye. Hey folks, yeah, I had a little mooch around just now trying to find online sims as an alternative to the Wizards sim and to Baccarat Win Play. Just just doesn't win pro, I should say. Doesn't happen. There's such rubbish out there. Okay, well that was a cheeky one. Double for the win. Sorry, +1 for the win. +1. Ooh, sneaky. Okay, well, 125 is the max on a winning streak. Okay, well, wait, let's see, what are we doing? That's 500, so we've got to bet 5-6 now. 5-6 second. That's a bit nasty, wasn't it? That was horrid. Ow! 11-12, third. Bloody hell, straight into the mire. 23, so that's 2.5, 1.5, but minimum. Damn it! I'll say, don't you dare. 2.5, 1.5 gives us a little bit of an edge, so, or a little bit extra, I should say. So, oh boy. Okay, 2.5, 1.5, so that's 4-3 we're looking at now, second bet, straight into the shit. Okay, 1-2. Three, 4, second. Damn it. 7-8, third. Boy, right into the muck. All right. So that 7-8, 15,000 made us 1,400, which isn't great, is it? But on the other hand, it is 1,400. I used to sort of like really be a bit hard-nosed and say, that's not enough. But I'm less inclined to be that way these days. I'm mellowing. Eee. Okay, well that was horrid. 51. Uh-huh. 2-3, third bet. Mm-hmm. 5-3 minimum. Repeat. 5-3 it is in real money. I really like that much. 5-6 we're going up to the turnaround bet. Oh, bloody hell. So 11-12 again, third bet. That didn't make us much, did it? Even for 2,500, we're getting thrashed here. But pattern betting is getting us out of it. But we are getting marmalised in terms of wins to losses. Add one for the win. Add one more. Look at that. We'll repeat that. Okay. Oops. Clear. Back to the minimum. Slow, hard work this time. But that's all right. We're up for it. 51. 2, 3, third. Gotcha! Yeah, since I've lately started transcribing these things kind of automatically over to the model, I look at them sometimes and I think, good God! You know, when I had that guy saying it's a twisted, it's a rigged sim, it's no good, it's, you know, and to me, I suppose because I'm so obsessed with being as accurate as I possibly can, when somebody says something like that without any proof, without any explanation, without anything, and I've counted through this thing for hours, you know, writing down each card that comes up and double checking the count and all that sort of thing, and enough to drive you bonkers, I tell you. Okay, so double for the loss. Repeat it. Oh, 51, second. Well, repeat that. Double that. Just made it. Okay. Well, we made 2,000 at 6 minutes, which is... Nah. I guess it's actually not too bad, is it? Shall I split those? God, I remember once playing with a woman in Las Vegas late at night at the Union Plaza, and she would always split jacks. She'd say, boys should not be together. Jacks of diamonds, my goodness. What would she make of that? Oh, she called two queens. She called the San Francisco hand. She was interesting. Okay. Should I stand on that? What do you think? Gordon Bennett. Okay, that gets repeated. Hey, that gets doubled. Okay, so that's 2, 3, third. That's a very clever 20 up there. 2, 3, third, so 5, 3 minimum. Okay, 5, 3 it is. Oh, rat bag. 8, 6. I'll stand on that. Okay, so that doesn't take us much further ahead, but it does recover our losses. Yeah, you know, this whole business about streaks, we're after patterns. We don't need streaks. I mean, I could be wrong about this, but to me a streak has to be at least 3 in a row. 2 in a row is not a streak, but 2 in a row is enough for us. So we're not looking for streaks. We are looking for trends. We're looking for repeats, basically. That's a bugger. Double for the loss. 1, 2. Third bet. 3, 2 minimum. 3, 2 it is. Over by 1, and they bust in by 1 too. What was that? Did I actually bet 2 there? I didn't I? So that's 5-4. One, 2. Eh. 3-4. Oh, good God! Look at that. 3-4, 3-4, 3-4, 3-4. So we're just going to repeat that into the. We don't care about shuffles. Maybe we should. 7-8. I think that's the third. Oh boy. Okay. So 7-8, 16, 23. So that's 2.5, 2. I think we better call that second. That's a bitch, isn't it? Yeah, the 10 would have bust us. 2.5, 2.5, 2, 4.5. Let's call it 4.5, 5, and be done with it. Eh? 9.5, 5, and minimum. Ouch. 14.5, 10. Oh, Jesus Christ. I should have run away from this by now, but I'm just sticking it out because I'm stubborn and I'm tired and I'm, whatever. Oh God, what is that now? 14.5, 10, we're 22 down, so that's 25. I don't know if we're at the third now, I'm just so confused. 25, 20, I guess. Okay, so now it's going to be 5, 6. $11, 12. Oh dear. Hate these things. Well, I don't hate them as much as I used to. I mean, that cost us a lot of money, but it made us a lot of money, right? So, we should be glad about that. I note the running count and the true count up there. Quite interesting. Don't often see value out of splitting aces. I'm very reluctant to do it most of the time, but we got away with it that time. So now we're at 16,000 in 13 minutes, which is very healthy, but boy, we had to dig deep for that, didn't we? Yeah, I had one guy saying to me today, bullshit! Largely complaining about the fact that it was just too much money. Nobody can do this. Too much money. Let's get all the millionaires to Las Vegas and they'll clean up. Well, of course, having tons of money doesn't do anything if you don't know what you're doing. You just throw away larger amounts. I mean, look at those idiots. Those Codys and those Steve Will Do It's, R.I.P. and others. I mean, really. Okay, double for the loss. I will split those. What? Okay, so that's 2-3, I think, third. 5-3 minimum. Still 5-3. 5-3 it is. Well, the dealer just can't go wrong, can he? 5-3, 5-3, 5-3, 5-3, 8. Oops, no, that's not right. 8-6, let's not go mad here. 8-6. Hi. 8-6. 14-12, I think must be the third, right? 14-12. So that's 3, 1.5, but minimum. Okay, 3, 1.5. I think we better go 3-4 now. That'll do us. Okay. I mean, what you're getting now is a demonstration of the value of a big bankroll and the value of a plan. You know, I mean, people are inclined to say to me, yes, but it could have gone wrong. Well, there's no answer to that. You know, it doesn't matter what you do. It could have gone wrong. And we're an example of how it can go wrong for the house, you know. 51 second. Repeat that. 1, 2 second. 3, 4 third. You're just not busting, are you? Was it 3, 4, 7, 4, but waiting. Seven, 4 it is. So now we're on 3, 4. Bugger. Okay. Oh, it doesn't take us very far, has it? We seem to be moribund, but I'm quite happy with the amount that's in the bankroll there, so can't really complain. Add 1 for the win. 51. You don't see that happen very often, do you? Repeat. One, 2. All right, creeping up slowly. I'm missing the archers. Oh my God. Add 1 for the win. Double that. Getting the dealer's hands all of a sudden. Let's say repeat. 2, 3, third bet. Like that. So that took us to 18 and a bit, 18.4, 18 minutes. So we're running at 1,000 a minute right now, which is pretty unusual. Haven't done that in a while. That was adding 1 for the, now it's 51. Repeat. Split them. All right. Back to the mini. We're winding down now, so I can catch up on the archers. Isn't that great? Uh, 51. No, 1, 2 maybe. 3, 4 third. Okie dokie. Back to the men. Okay, yellow card coming any minute. 51. Good way to end. Even if I have to stand on it to get my money. There we go. Alright folks, that's it. I'll take my shoes off, put my feet up, and I'll see you when I see you. Thanks a lot. Bye.